South Huron. It's been quite a while since I've done my last post. I've been, as I had reported in my last post, I've been struggling with the time change and the ever fluctuating weather that we've been dealing with here in southwestern Ontario. But I've also been trying to get a lot of work done in knitting. Anybody who's been in a Zoom meeting with me knows that I knit nonstop. And I thought that I would share a little bit with you about what got me into it and the purpose for my never ceasing projects. So actually, I knit as a child but hadn't touched the needles in well over 20 years until COVID struck, and as part of the online activities through my fibromyalgia support group, every other Thursday they have a knitting group that meets online, and I joined them and dug out my knitting supplies from my craft bin and joined them, and I started knitting reusable masks and ear savers. And I was giving ear savers to my drivers that take me to my medical appointments and whatnot. And during one of our classes, somebody shared, actually it was a friend of mine named Heather. She shared a pattern that she had for dishcloths. And when I was down visiting friends in Kitchener, I picked up some cotton yarn and the right size needles and took on the project of knitting some dishcloths, and was amazed with how uncomplex the pattern was, so that it was something that I could do no matter how foggy my brain was that day. And they weren't huge projects, so it was something that I could do in relatively short period of time without getting myself really off disappointed or looking behind. So what I have also found since I've started knitting is that I've found that knitting helps control my anxiety. So if I'm finding that my anxiety is building, or if I'm in a situation that I know my anxiety is going to be high, I just plan ahead now and bring my knitting along with me. So that's the reason that I first started knitting through Zoom meetings. My meetings are with people that I didn't know, and I just find that I retain the information better if I'm not focusing so hard on the information, if I have the knitting going on as well. And knitting is something that keeps you busy. You can do it while you're doing something like listening to music or watching TV, or even visiting with somebody else. But it gives, at the end of the day, it's something that is productive that has been done. So even if you're having a bad day physically where you can't stand at the table or at the stove all day, that you're pretty much limited to sitting in a chair, you can still have done something constructive by getting a knitting project or two done. And I apologize, I'm still struggling with my graphics here, but so once you get good at it, you can earn money by doing it. I know my mom, every time that there's a new baby in the family or a friend that has a new baby, she has several family friends that are very talented knitters that she calls upon for new sweater sets or bonnets or whatever for shower gifts. So I'm certainly not at that stage yet, but I'm getting pretty darn good at dishcloths, and that is certainly something that can help. You can make gifts. So I had planned on knitting a lot of my Christmas gifts this year. And I still am doing some, but I have started a project. I need a top dental plate, and as many of you know, I'm on ODSP, and for anybody that is on ODSP knows, they are not very helpful when it comes to things like complex dental needs. So I've been trying for over 6 years now, closer to 8. It started back then that I needed a partial plate, and it was yearly applications that were being turned down, that there was no funding. The last 2 years, the applications have been for full plates with the same refusal of no funding. I am now down to 4 teeth left on the top, and am in dire need of a plate. I'm having some digestive and nutritional issues because I am limited to what I can eat. Also with my other health conditions with the irritable bowel and acid reflux and whatnot, I'm limited to how much acidic foods I can eat, which limits me on fresh fruits and vegetables, and types of foods that are soft. Also with my kidney stone issues, I'm limited to the amount of dairy, which limits my cheese, yogurts, and other soft foods like that. So when I was down at my friend in Kitchener, we got talking, and we went to my old church, and I just thought we'd throw it out there to see if there would be any interest if I were to make cotton dishcloths and sell them to raise money to pay for my plate. And they not only put in orders for 40 dishcloths, but bought everything that I had with me, even though they were like beginner dishcloths, and I was already knitting to much better than what I had. So I am knitting dishcloths. And I have got it now so that this particular pattern, I can do a dishcloth in under 2 hours. And I've sold quite a few now. I'm halfway to my goal of $2,000. So certainly if it's something that you're interested in doing, I may in the future run videos on how to get started with knitting. I haven't fully decided there with that. But if you're interested in dishcloths from me, you can contact me at scolbert13@gmail.com, and I apologize, I should have put that in my notes. Or look me up on Twitter. I'm on Twitter and as well. And I'll be selling them till at least the end of January, partway into February. My social worker at CMHA is hoping that by that point, we can be looking into getting some help from a service club for the remainder of the money if I haven't raised the full amount at that point. I would really like to have my denture for my birthday in March. So that is my goal at this point, to raise all the money by the middle of February so that I can have my denture for March. So in the meantime, please be kind to each other, take care of each other, and be safe out there. Thank you, and have a great night.